Okay, everyone, so weird lighting again, but hey, we're continuing with the Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Last week we talked about the Juliet in this Romeo and Juliet story, so, well, we gotta talk about Romeo, right? Okay, so the Romeo in this story is Akiva. He doesn't have a last name, so just Akiva. Like I said, Romeo and Juliet, she's a chimera, he's a serph, star-crossed lovers, that whole deal, Romeo and Juliet stuff is going down. So, now to review his character. Still have the third book, we're going to stick with the third book really throughout this entire thing, but, so, at first when I meet Akiva, like when we first meet Akiva, he's marking these handprints, and he sees Karoo for the first time, and I'm just like, okay, so what's going on with you and Karoo? Because he was like, I feel like I should follow her. I don't know why. And at first I was like, I don't like you, because he follows Karoo, then he attacks her, he immediately kills her, and he was marking all those doors, and you know that can't be a good thing, because they're all like, they're what? So, you get the idea. But that was my first impression of Akiva, and that was, I don't like him. And, you know, we don't really see him again until, yes, he becomes a stalker for a little bit, and, you know, is watching Karoo, is following her around, and you start to get a little bit of an idea of his backstory with Madrigal, okay? And, you know, by the end of the first one, we know that Madrigal's Karoo, but we don't know that yet. So we're like, oh, he had this thing going on with this girl named Madrigal. What happened to her? Because we don't really know, because he just says ever since Madrigal. The thing we see of him is that he's being a stalker. Yep, that was my reaction. We get to the first Akiva chapter, well, the second Akiva chapter, and I'm like, well, someone's being a stalker. Yeah, he's following Karoo around, and Karoo kinda gets it, kinda doesn't. He doesn't know why he's there. He keeps thinking of Madrigal, but he is really confused at why he's having a hard time remembering Madrigal, especially with Karoo, because it keeps kind of replacing Madrigal with Karoo. You're like, oh, you like her. Kind of getting that idea, that vibe, except it's really weird. And then they fight again. And he doesn't fight, okay? He more of just takes it, because Karoo has found out about the Hamas, okay? Yeah. She found out about that power, and he kind of just takes it, okay? Because he doesn't want to hurt her, and, you know, well, he just burnt all the pathways to Earth, and probably feels really bad about it, which he should, so he kind of just takes it. He takes it all in, and then he ends up nearly blacking out, and he goes back with Karoo, and she's kind of helping him, because she feels a connection too, and probably a little bad about hurting him that much, to the point where he, like, fell out of the sky. Okay, that's how much she used that against him, so, yeah. And that's when you kind of find out about his past a little bit, okay? This is where we start finding out about his past, because he tells her of, you know, like, he's telling her about his mother, his earliest memory of, like, soldiers coming and taking him at the age of 5, and his mom kind of just turning away. And, you know, then he explains the whole misbegotten deal to her after, you know, he falls asleep, and, like, is telling her about this. This whole misbegotten thing, I find it really interesting that Taylor would put that in there and have that, like, perspective on things where it's like these serifs are taking it to, like, this extreme. That's a very far extreme, okay? And she's bringing it up there, and so this whole misbegotten thing, I found it really interesting and also kind of weird. It's like, really, dude? That's just wrong on a lot of levels. Because it's like, their sole purpose, the misbegotten, they are like the Emperor Serph's kids. But they were born to fight. They are told from day one of training at the age of 5, they're not people, they're weapons. That's what they are. That's what they are. That is what they are told, that they are weapons in this war, because they are trained from day one, and like they can fight off Dominion like that, so many Dominion soldiers, and that is incredible. Okay, because that is how trained they are. Okay, and they are thrown into like the front lines of it and everything, and you're like, oh, why? Who knows why? But I found that really interesting, that like that's another aspect of this, and it really deepens the character for Akiva. And you know, then they have their mini little date, and you kind of see that he is like self-conscious of how hot he looks, because one, he is A, really really hot, and B, he is really really hot, like yeah, good looking, and physically he's a fire angel. He's supposed to be hot. So you see that he's really self-conscious of it, and that's probably from, you know, all of them. They like don't really think anything of beauty, because they're all beautiful. They're all handsome. They're all gorgeous. But like him being on Earth and having everyone stare at him, he's really self-conscious of that. He's not one of those people that likes all the attention drawn on him. So, you know, then we keep going in this, and you really start to get a feel for Akiva, and you kind of start to find out what happened to Madrigal. She died, yes. Susanna meets him. Let me just say that line with Susanna. We're going to talk about Susanna, but that line where she sees him and is just like, must, mate, now. It's so funny. I can just picture her saying that, and I'm like, dude, you have got to kind of get what she's saying. So that happens, and then he starts to figure out, and he sees the wishbone. When he sees that wishbone, and of course he sees it, and then Liraz and Hazeal show up at the same time, and we'll talk about them later. But Liraz and Hazeal show up, and they're like, dude, what is up with you? Because, you know, last time he disappeared, what happened exactly? He came back broken, and they're like, we don't want to see this happen to our brother, because they're the trio, like the Three Musketeers, kind of. But they're like a trio. They are the closest. They are like a family, okay? They do everything together. They look out for one another. They try to stay within the same, like, I guess, group or whatever they want to call it in IRTS. And they try to always stick together. And then, you know, Akiva's kind of, he went off one time and then came back broken, like just soul dead. And they don't want that to happen to him again. So when he like kind of starts to cry when he sees this wishbone, because he's like, oh my god, it is you, it is Madrigal. And I gotta give him props for being brave and very smart, because let me just say, he is like boyfriend of the year, because after he, you know, he tells Karoo to go, he will meet her in the place that they first met, so she knows where that is. She goes off. He still has the wishbone. He knows exactly. He fights Liraz and Hazeal to give her, like, her more time. And of course people are like freaking out because there are fire angels. Come on, hard to miss. And like this blue-haired girl just flew into the sky. So there are these fire angels, and they start like fighting one another, and he's fighting so that to protect her, because they kind of, it seems like they want to kill her. And I gotta give him props for being very brave and smart, because he's holding that wishbone, the thing that he knows is probably the most important thing to Karoo, and her memory. He knows this, and he doesn't throw it away because he wants to be with her. He gives it to her anyway. They break it. He's resistant. He's trying to push her away because he knows what she's going to find out. He remembers, she remembers, and again, boyfriend of the year. I mean, he basically healed entirely. He never killed another Chimera when he was with her before she died, and then he wanted vengeance. He like never tried to do anything. He risked his life just to come and say thank you and dance with her. And you know, they saw each other for like an entire month, and he was willing to practically kill his dad, which I don't exactly blame him for, but they were finding a way. They wanted a way to like live together, And, like I said, boyfriend of the year, and guys, like, if you want to know how to talk to a girl, just read what Akiva says to Madrigal in that flashback, and you will be good. Act like that, and you probably get a date. Yeah, you probably get a date. And then he admits what he did, and like I said, probably took a lot for him to do that. He's very honest. And then Karoo goes off, and he feels bad, and then the second book starts. And in the second book, okay, in the second book, we have him. It starts off with Susanna's text, and we don't really text and emails, and we don't really know what's going on. And you see Akiva, and he still is trying for this peace thing. Okay, he is going off. He is going out there to warn these Chimera, as his group was sent out to go and hunt down all these Chimera. Okay, they were supposed to hunt down all the Chimera and kill them. He's going out there. He's warning them. He's scaring them to get them moving. And even my favorite part with Hazeal and Akiva, they're flying over, they hear something, they go down there, and they're like, oh, we found them. Because they were really hoping that they wouldn't find anyone. They found the entire village. All the Chimera are like, they found us. They're like, oh, we found them. What do we do? And Akiva is kind of looking towards Hazeal because he really does not want to do this. So, yes to him. And the part with Ziri, just to kind of jump ahead a little bit, the part with Ziri, oh my god, I love that part that he saved Ziri. Okay, he saved Ziri, and that was amazing. And he brought Izza's soul to Karoo, and I mentioned this in the last one. I was kind of getting annoyed with Karoo when she having the dilemma between Thiago and Akiva, because I'm like, okay, you have Thiago, who is pretty much isolating her, trying to keep her separate from everyone else, and spreading the room, and keeping that hatred feeling alive, and Akiva, who is trying to create peace, who brought you Izza, who saved Ciri, who is saving so many others, and trying so hard to do all this. It's crazy. He just completely is whatever to the whole history thing, because the way I look at it, when Akiva explains it in the first one, this whole war, I'm like, so it's kind of like when all these European countries, invaded Africa. If you can think about that, back in history lesson here, folks. Back in history, people colonized Africa with the same reasons, and even for America, when they went there, they were like, we are the civilized people. These people should we are above them all, and all that nonsense. They kind of have that same perspective, and he gets over it, and they're all starting to slowly get over it, because they're still fighting this war. They know it's done, and they're still fighting it. They're all like, why? And even now they're going after their own kind. Because why? Well, they need another war. That's all they know. So they need another war, and they go after the Stillions, and that's stupid. So really, with that one, only other thing, and then Akiva is still trying to figure out who the Resurrectionist is this entire time, and I'm like, dude, Karoo is missing. You don't know where she went. She probably saw the Cage City. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. And you know that she was raised by the last Resurrectionist, and she worked for the last Resurrectionist. She can sort teeth very well. Who do you think that is the new Resurrectionist? Yeah, I did kind of get annoyed with him with that one. And the ending comes, and oh my god, that climax where it's going back and forth between everything. You have Karoo dealing with that whole Thiago situation and freaking out, and it's cutting back to Akiva, Liraz, and Hazeal, who have been invited to I forget what they call it, the Tower of Conquest, to speak with dear old dad about who knows what. They don't know, but Akiva got a reputation because he came back and was like, look, I know how they're doing this, coming back so much, and how they keep fighting. It's because they can come back from the dead. They have a resurrectionist. Yes, see, Thiago, this is what happens when you tell people things. Okay, this is what happens. You should stay quiet about things if you want to keep them a secret. But he finds out and he tells them for vengeance, so he kind of got on their good side, and they go in there. They're about to kill him. Karu's dealing with the ego. It's going back and forth, and then the part where he does his magic. Okay, he does the magic thing and just completely shatters all the windows and stuff to the Tower of Conquest, and that was amazing. I was a little mad because I was like, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. You couldn't have done that a little quicker so Hazeal could live. I'll talk about Hazeal later, though. Talk about him later. But how he did that was just amazing, and that Serph, I think that's how you say it, thing he saw where he could see everything happening before it actually happened was amazing. Just amazing entirely, okay? It was amazing, and I liked it. And he brings, Liraz and Akiva are so upset about Hazeal, they bring him to Karu. She's like, I will resurrect him, where's his soul? They're like, we need his soul. She's like, yeah, you don't have his soul. So, yeah, Hazeal died. But anyway, then she helps Akiva and Liraz escape before Thaego, because before Thaego really found out about them, which at this point Thaego's Ziri, so who cares? And then he goes back and he starts to gather up all the misbegotten, because now the misbegotten are being hunted. All of them are being hunted. All 290 something, nearly 300 of them are being hunted down, and because they're not the ones who went to the Stillions yet, and that's when Akiva gets them all together, and I love that about him, okay? Even in kind of crisis situations, he's kind of still the leader. He's becoming a leader here. And he's using his magic to his advantage. He's trying to make this dream come alive, and he's becoming a leader. He knows what to tell them to get them on his side, and at the same time he's being very sensitive to Karu. He's giving her space, giving her time. Even when he came to give Izza's soul to her, she flashed her Hamas there was no tomorrow, and he just took it. He knew he messed up. He knew he probably deserved it, and he just took it. Okay, and so that's just what I like about him. And then the third one starts. Now they're all trying to work together, and he's trying to work together. And I'll be honest with you, like I said in Karu's video, at this point I'm getting really annoyed, because I'm like, okay, dude, all of your brothers and sisters, all of them know that you like her. It is blatantly obvious. Please just get together already. And it's even the Chimera know. Please just get together already. Like that. It's let's focus on the apocalypse, not everything else. Okay? But, we gotta have the love somewhere. And, yeah, I did get annoyed with him, because I was like, you have the worst timing in the world. That scene where she's laughing with Ziri, who's Thaego, when he just walks around the corner. I'm like, dude, you have the worst timing ever. You couldn't have waited 10 more seconds or something, or 1 more minute. Come on. Okay, and then the whole Stillions thing with him being like that, I like that, and I wish they would have kind of hinted at it a little more in the other ones, but I do like that. It gives him a little more depth to it, and they're all kind of amazed that he has this power. Yes, I would have loved to have more of an explanation, why can he do this power? Why did he never realize it? Why did Festival, who his mother is, do this? Did she somehow know that all this was gonna happen? There are a lot of questions. This is a good series to have another series for, kind of the Percy Jackson series happened, and then the Heroes of Olympus series happened. Maybe she'll make another series where now they're going to become the God Stars. That part blew my mind, by the way. Now they're going to become the God Stars and fight these weird darkness monsters thing from the other side of this layer, because then I could see them getting more and more a backstory on him, because yes, he is a very interesting character, how he's misbegotten, how he fell in love with Madrigal, the whole arm situation, the whole arm thing. I like that, because it wasn't just they taught him how to fight with 2 swords, because no one else does. It talks about how his right arm was just dislocated and broken entirely, But so when it was healing, because they were like, we gotta cut it off, and then Liraz was like, you are not cutting it off, and you not mess with Liraz. You no, don't. They put it back on, but they didn't know like if he would still have control over it, so he learned how to fight with his left hand, and in the end he was able to fight with both hands. I like those things about him. He doesn't have much of a backstory. Like I said, the love thing, come on. By the end of this one, it's like, get together already, okay? I was yelling that at the book, and he had some of his facepalm moments. He had some moments, but otherwise, I say he gets boyfriend of the year, because he knew when to give her space, and he would, yes, he would get jealous, but he wouldn't really show it, I think. But he would give her space. The way that he like met Madrigal and how met Madrigal Carew was great. He knew that he messed up. He didn't try to hide it. He was honest with her. He still tried to help. He still believed in it. Boyfriend of the year right there, okay? I say he gets that. Um, one part I love when they, and in here, they go through the portal and Liraz like pushes him through, symbolizing how he has to live. She has accepted that Akiva and Carew, they are in love. She pushes them through, and then Susanna has to give them another push by making them hide in a bathroom together with like another chimera, because it's kind of hard to explain like why there's a chimera, blue-haired girl, and a Serph in a hotel room when they don't know that they're even there to begin with. Kind of hard to explain that. So, yeah. I like that part, and then she finally forgave him, and I was like, yes! And the way that he handled that Jael thing was just amazing. Like how he was just, even when they were caught, when the plan didn't go according to plan, he was so confident, so threatening. It was amazing and awesome all at once. Okay? I love that part for it. All in all, I like Akiva. I really do like Akiva. I looked forward to reading from his point of view, just because, like, he was so mysterious, okay? I like these mysterious characters you don't know much about, because then you find out things. He was so mysterious, and these stallions are after him, and I wanted to know why. Okay? And so, in the end, he's not as deep as Carew, because I feel like Carew is like a little more deeper than him. I would love to know more about him, like why exactly did his mom do this? I was really confused on that. Why is he the only one who can do this, or was she able to do that too? And, you know, I want to know probably the results of his training, because this was like one of those to be continued things. It sounded like, you know, like how when a season ends, but you know it's going to start up again. One of those things. So I feel like that could happen. Maybe we'll get another one and it'll be more Carew and Akiva. I won't object to that. But all in all, I like Akiva. And now, if I could go into the book and tell him something, the one thing that I would tell him is that, dude, Hazeal is gonna die. I would want to warn him about Hazeal dying, about Jael's plan. If I could be specific, I would want to do that. And I don't know how it would affect the outcome of the book, but I would like want to do that just to be safe. I would want to do that if I could. Obviously I can't, but I would want to tell him that. If I had to be vague, I'd tell him to use that muscle in his head. He calls it brain. Because like I said, seriously, you're trying to figure out who the resurrectionist is, and your girlfriend is the one who can sort teeth very skillfully in the way only Brimstone can, was raised by Brimstone, is working for Brimstone, was once Madrigal, who knew all about this stuff, is missing. You don't know where she is. You know she went back and saw everything that happened at one point, and you know she's probably really upset about all of this and wants to help. What do you think she's doing? Huh? What do you think she's doing? Come on. Come on. So, yeah, I know she probably thought she was dead for a little bit, but still. I'm sorry, that's what I tell him, and I'd be like, let's go through this stuff. Let's think ahead. Let's put pieces together like that. If I could be vague, like, put the pieces together here. Look at all the pieces and put them together, and maybe you'll find something. So yeah, that's what I would tell him. Based on his character and his character development, I think there could be another series. I hope there would be, because I love the Akiva and Carew. I love them together. They're such a beautiful couple. So that's all I have for you this time, and I will see you next time with Liraz and Hazeal. Bye.
Okay, so my name's Devin and I've accepted the ALS challenge. And the three people I'm going to challenge is Emily Urbeck, Maria Lewis, and Katie Brown. There you go.